Hello everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live. I will be showing you today how to use our HappyPattern FlowerGarden, which is an iron-on vinyl, and it comes in two different colours, including this lovely navy colour, and I have an example of a project here with a lovely sort of pastel-y blue version of the print onto this lovely fabric notebook. So I'm actually going to show you a design onto this little like zip up pouch. It could be a makeup bag or a bag to put into a beach bag or something summery. And I put up on our Instagram and our Facebook stories a poll to see which design you think would suit this pouch the most, and what one was the word bloom, which I've got a print out of a design here, as you can see. So I'm going to be hand cutting our HappyPattern FlowerGarden today. You're just using scissors and a pen. It's really simple and easy. You don't have to have a cutting machine, but if you do have one, our vinyl is suited to all types of machines, including Silhouette, Cricut, Brother Scan and Cut. They will work with our HappyPattern FlowerGarden and all of our other vinyl types as well. If you haven't seen our vinyl types that we do stock, we have a wide variety, including Happy Flock, which has a suede-like texture. We have Happy Glitter, which has a lovely shiny glittery look to it. We have Happy Fashion, which is iridescent and almost like holographic looking. And we also have Happy Flex. So Happy Flex is actually a very similar type of vinyl to the HappyPattern FlowerGarden. So it's got the exact same settings. So if you are looking at our DIY settings on our website, you'll be using the Happy Flex settings. So that means 150-degree press for 10 seconds. And you also have the cutting settings and wash settings on there as well when you are washing your fabrics. But I'm going to get straight stuck into the project. As you saw earlier, I've printed out my design. So I've just printed this out on the computer onto normal paper. And now the first step I would say to hand drawing and hand cutting your design is to think about what scissors you might need. So I've actually got a normal pair of scissors here as well as a pair of nail scissors. These are really handy if you're cutting out small areas. I use these quite a lot. So I'm just going to show you a little example of me cutting out here. So I'm just going to cut around the letter with these little scissors. So the reason why we do this is because you can get really great results by using printouts and cutting them out for a stencil. Hello! So you can just cut around your shape. So that's just your little paper shape there. And I'm going to cut around all areas as this will act as a stencil. It's really great if you can print your design off onto card. That's really great because then obviously you've got quite a hard, sort of stiffer surface. But this is just like a thicker paper I've printed onto, and it works really well. And once you've cut out your stencils, you can use these over and over again. So you could cut out all the alphabet in a chosen font, or you might want to purchase a stencil from a craft shop, which somewhere like Hobbycraft, for like a plastic stencil that you could draw around onto the vinyl. So I've just cut out the B shape there from the bloom, and I'm also going to cut out the middles of the B as well, just with my little scissors here. So you can do this just by bending the letter in half and then cutting around, which is great. It's a little bit more fiddly, but you can still get really good results by doing it. So I'm just going to do the other one as well. And once you've cut them all out, I've got a bit of a Blue Peter moment because I've actually cut them out before, one I made earlier. So there's one of the letters cut out. Sorry, it's quite small, you might be able to see it better there. So these are the shapes that I've cut out before to make the bloom, and I've only cut one O shape because you can just reuse that again. So I've got all the little shapes here ready to draw around. So once you've got them, you can continue doing that for the rest of, if you want to do more projects with the same letters. And then the next step is to get your vinyl. So this is the HappyPattern FlowerGarden vinyl, and this comes in an A4 sheet. So this is the navy colour, and like I showed you before, this colour here is the lighter version of the vinyl. So we do this in 2 different shades of blue. So I'm using the navy one today. So you want to flip your vinyl over on the back. So that is the side that's not printed. And then you just want to grab your letters. So I'm going to grab one of the letters I've done here. So I'll grab this L shape. So I've got a little L shape here. And I'm just going to reverse that, so make sure it's the opposite way round so that you can't read it, onto the vinyl. And then you want to just grab a normal biro pen and draw around that. So as I said before, this just acts as your template, so you can get a really good result, really nice shapes just by drawing around other shapes. So you might not want to do letters, you might want to also do other bigger shapes like stars. And then I'm just going to grab my little scissors again, just because these are really handy. They do have just a curved edge, just normal sort of nail scissors. It just means that you can get around the shapes really easily. Now, one tip I would say is that when you are drawing onto the back of the vinyl, so this is the HappyPattern FlowerGarden vinyl on the front, we're drawing onto the back with the biro pen, as we've just drawn around a little stencil. You just want to make sure when you are cutting your shape out, you want to make sure all the pen marks have been cut off. This is so important if you don't want the pen marks to transfer to your fabric. If you do leave them on, it has a chance of when you're heat pressing it, it may transfer and maybe spread outside of your shape, so you don't want that. So just make sure they're all cut off before you start pressing them. So I'm just going to cut around my L shape, and I will show you the shapes close up in a moment so you can see, because I'm a little bit far away, just so I can get the heat press in and everything else, so you can see a proper demo of it. So I will show you the vinyl close up in a second. Just cutting around this shape. That's it. Right, so let me show you the vinyl extra close up on the camera, and I'll show you a few of my shapes that I've cut out here as well. Just come round. So this is the lovely navy HappyPattern FlowerGarden that I'm using today. It's an iron-on vinyl. That is the navy colour, and then this is the light blue colour, which is pressed onto this fabric notebook. Has such a lovely print, and it's so smooth to touch on the surface. It's just like our Happy Flex vinyl, but a printed version. And then these are my shapes that I've cut out. As you can see here, just using a stencil to draw around onto the back of the vinyl and hand cutting with scissors. But you can also cut with a machine if you have one already as well. But this is just to show that it can easily be hand cut. And shapes are even easier to cut than letters as well. So I'm going to come round now, and I'm going to start getting on with the project now. So I'm going to be adding the word bloom to the front of this. It suits the vinyl. I love the floral vinyl and having that sort of slogan on the front. And this will make a lovely little summer pouch to add into a handbag or something. So I'm going to be using the HappyPress 4 heat press. This is the white A4 auto open, which means when you are pressing and the timer has struck, it opens up all on its own. So this is an extra feature that you can add on when you are looking at our heat presses. And I'm going to pull out the drawer. So this just gives you so much extra workspace. So if you are working in front of the heat press, this is so handy. It just means that if you are lifting fabrics or placing things on, you're not going to have that risk of burning your fingers, because you don't want that. Whereas if it's back here, you know, you have that risk, you're a bit more restricted. So this is really helpful. I'm going to place my little zipper purse on first, making sure that the zip is outside of the heat press. Now the reason for this is because obviously this is the metal part of the zip, and that can really get in the way when you are pressing. And because it has a more of a raised surface, when you are pressing it, it's going to press the highest point of your fabric, and that is going to get in the way, causing the vinyl not to be pressed as it's along here. So I just want to make sure that's outside of the press. So as you can see, I'm going to perch it on the side here, and then I'm just going to lock this handle back into place. and I'm going to pre-press this so that all the moisture and any creases are out of the fabric. I'm going to pop that down. So the HappyPress 4 just locks into place, and this is the auto open HappyPress 4, so this will open all on its own, which means you can get on with other projects or other things that you're making, especially if you've got a small business, and it will open up on its own, so you won't have to quickly rush back to your heat press and worry that it's still pressing. It's perfectly fine just to leave if you've got that feature, but if not, you can also get this heat press in a manual version as well. So if you do want to have control of it and open it and close it when you want, there's that option as well. So, I didn't say, but first I'm going to add a Happy Flex layer, which is this lovely pastel blue sort of stripe. I love this colour. The pastel shades are my absolute favourite for summer. So I'm going to add this stripe in the middle first. Now you could use a ruler or a tape measure just to make sure you've got that straight on there. So I do a little bit of a measurement, but I also go a little bit by eye as well, because you get more of an, you can see straight away sort of by eye of what it looks like. So I'm going to pop it up there. So I've popped it on shiny side up, and I'm going to place some Happy Release paper on top. If you don't have any Happy Release paper, you could also use greaseproof paper or baking paper on top. It's just to protect your fabric, the vinyl and the heat press. And if you are layering like me, you'll definitely need something in between, because I will show you in a moment why you'd need it. But I'll pop this on first and then press this for 10 seconds at 10 degrees? At 150 degrees, a little bit hotter. I'm going to pop this down. Now, have you guys got a lot of sun where you are at the moment? It's very warm. I've got my fan on at the moment, so I'm actually quite cool next to this heat press, which is good. So I'm going to take that off. I've just got a question here from Denise. Can you use on any fabric? So most of our vinyls you can use on pretty much most fabrics. You do need to make sure that you can heat press it at a certain temperature. So if it is a synthetic fabric that easily melts, the answer would be probably no, because it needs to go up to at least 150 degrees for pressing. But we have a variety of different vinyls which would suit. So if you're looking at more sort of stretchy fabrics, we do have a Happy Flex Stretch, which completely is amazing. I haven't got an example here with me today, but if you have a look on our socials or give us a message, we can show you exactly how our stretch one works, and it is amazing. It moves completely with the fabric. But lots of our vinyl, as I've got here, a few here today, are suited to sort of cotton, poly cotton blends. But if in doubt, you can always test a small sample piece. But if you know that if it's easily gonna melt, then I would sort of avoid using it because of the heat on there. I've just waited for this little stripe here, the Happy Flex pastel blue stripe, just to cool down slightly. And as you can see on top of our vinyl, you can see this, if you can see in the light, this shiny layer on top. Now that is our clear carrier that comes with every single vinyl. So even if you've got a Happy Flock, which has like a suede-like finish, you still get a protective layer on top which is shiny. So this, after a certain amount of time, you will need to peel away. So all of our vinyls have certain settings for them. So if you're looking at using Happy Flex, you can peel this around about now. It's just fairly cool to touch. So I'm just going to peel away the top carrier, just so you can see in front of me here. Peels away so easily, and it's so smooth on the fabric there, as you can see. I love it. I love these colours together, like the blue and the beige. It just reminds me of summer for some reason. I think it's like a beachy, you know, sand and sea. We've got another question here from Denise. For t-shirt fabric, the flex is good. So yeah, the flex is really good for t-shirt fabric. Quite often t-shirts are made from cotton or poly cotton blends. If you're going to be stretching the fabric a lot, then I would choose Happy Flex Stretch, which is a slightly different version of our vinyl. But the flex that I've got on here As you can see, obviously this is not a stretchy fabric, but it has a really good durability. So it completely depends on what type of vinyl. And all our vinyls have slightly different peel times. So for instance, with our Happy Flock vinyl, which is this one here, our Happy Flock, it needs to be peeled when it's completely cooled down. And this is just because it's quite a textured vinyl, so you just need to peel it sort of slowly while it's cooled. Whereas Happy Glitter can be peeled while it's warm, and it looks amazing once you peel it away. It's very instant with Happy Glitter. But I would always say head over to our website at happyfabric.co.uk, and you can see on our website that there's, under the download section, you can download our instructions, and we have for every single vinyl what kind of peel it is, what kind of wash you need to wash your fabric at, and any cut-in settings as well. But if you're ever in doubt, feel free to give us an email or a message on our socials and we can help you out with that. But they're all machine washable. That's no worries. So next up, I'm going to add the HappyPattern FlowerGarden on top. As you can tell, I'm really excited for it. I've been excited all day. I've hand cut the shapes out, obviously pre-done them as well. But earlier, if you've just joined us, I've just shown from the start of the video how to hand cut our vinyl if you haven't got a cutter. But you can watch this back afterwards on our social channels, so feel free to do that later on as well. So I've got my hand cut shapes here. So I know I'm doing this a bit backwards, aren't I? So you can see more of what it's like. So bear with me. I'm just going to place the shapes on in the middle, shiny side up again. Make sure I've got them all the right way round. So I've got the word bloom in the HappyPattern FlowerGarden. And I've got a little full stop at the end as well. I just thought it would like finish it off nicely. I'll just try and pop all the shapes in the middle. And I might come round to the other side just to check it. So I'm going to come and meet you around the other side. Let's go around here. Let's have a look. So hopefully you can still see okay with my head behind. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to pop them, make sure they're all up the right way. I might slant the O's a little bit actually, because this font was sort of a little bit italics, is that what you call it? Where it's a little bit slanted. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to leave it like that. Did you guys want a little close-up on that one? So you can see. So it's probably on the camera backwards to you as well, but it says the word bloom. All the letters are shiny side up and they've all been hand cut. So now I'm just going to add on our happy release paper. And I'll just come around the other side so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to press this again at 150 degrees for 10 seconds. So I'm just going to pop the bottom pattern down and click into place. And then just want to double check to make sure none of the letters have moved. That is one thing you've just got to be careful of. And then I'm going to pop the heat press down and lock into place. So if you've just joined us, this is the HappyPress 4 heat press and this is the A4 auto open, which means it opens all on its own, which is great. And I just forgot to mention there as well, I did have the zip out of the press as well, just to make sure that the vinyl is getting the heat rather than the higher area of the zip, because that can cause the vinyl not to stick properly. I'm just going to take the happy release paper away. Wow, look at that! So as you might be able to see, there's still the shiny carrier layer off, which needs to be peeled away. Now, as these letters have been hand cut, you'll just need to peel away. So it's a little bit more. Well, it's not tricky at all, but you just want to make sure, even if you haven't got any nails like me, you might want to just push the fabric away from it, and then just get a corner of the top layer, and then you'll be able to peel away the top layer, and it comes off so smoothly. It really does feel like a print on there. I'm just going to peel away the rest of them. So it's just when it's like sort of fairly sort of cool to touch. So it's still quite warm, but it's not hot. And that's what you don't want with the Happy Flex. You don't want it to be too hot to peel away. But if you ever have any issues where you think, oh, one area's not quite got the heat, Hello Caroline, thank you for joining. Yeah, if any areas haven't quite got the heat, then you might want to just repress areas, that's no problem at all. Got a question here as well. Shouldn't your vinyl has times of pressing and temperature statement each? Yes, so all of our vinyls, we have a DIY sheet on our website where you can see exactly what vinyl pressing times you need for each effect, wash times and cutting settings as well. If you ever have any questions on it at all and you want more information, you can always give us a message and ask us a question. It's no worries at all. But for the Happy Flex vinyl and the HappyPattern FlowerGarden, the settings are 150 degrees for 10 seconds for a press. You just want to make sure that the pressure is nice and even as well. So on our HappyPress 4, you have got a sort of screw knob on the top where you can adjust the pressure on it. So if you are pressing thick jumpers, not in this weather, but if you are looking at pressing thicker jumpers or thick fabrics, then you might want to adjust the pressure slightly upward because obviously it's thicker fabric, and then the thinner fabrics you want to press sort of more firmly, so you can adjust that there. But if you are using a handheld press or an iron, then you can just make sure you've got a nice even flat surface. And if you are doing a larger design, you might want to press in sections. But for any other settings for our vinyls, feel free to ask us some questions, or we can send over our DIY sheet if you can't find it on our website. It's under downloads, our download section up the top there. But I'm so happy with that. What do you guys think? It's the mixture of our Happy Flex, this lovely pastel blue, and then the lovely HappyPattern FlowerGarden together. Absolutely love it. I think it might appear backwards to you on the camera. It is for me when I'm looking in the camera, but it does say bloom. We have a question here as well. Vinyl sublimation, which one would you recommend? So for heat presses, I've got a question for heat presses. So if you are starting off and you're looking at buying a press for vinyl or sublimation printing, we do 3 different types of heat presses. We've got the HappyPress 2.1, which is a great starter press if you're looking at starting up from the start. It's got plenty of features on there, from a time and temperature setting, so you don't have to count in your head. You've got a timer there for you, and you can adjust according to what you're printing. So with vinyl and sublimation printing, they can be very slightly different temperatures. So you've got all that there, and it opens up at a 90-degree angle. If you're looking at monitoring the pressure and you want regular pressure for different types of vinyl and fabric, then I would say you probably want to have a look at our HappyPress 4s. We do them in A4 size to A3, depending on how big your projects are. And we do have a pressure control, which is up the top here, which is this knob. So it just means that you are getting a regular pressure, rather than with a HappyPress 2.1, you will need to sort of push that down and make sure you are pressing it with pressure. But it completely depends on what type of pressure you're looking for. But if you ever have any questions at all, and you want us to sort of give you more of an idea of what would suit you, feel free to give us a message on our socials or our email, and we can help you with that. But yeah, this is the HappyPress 4 here today, and you can get this in the auto open version if you want it to open itself, or you can get it in a manual version. So if you do want to have an extra feature, you can, but you don't have to pay for the extra feature, which is really good as well. Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm really happy with it. You have to let me know, guys, if you ever hand cut your vinyl or machine cut your vinyl. I know a lot of it is 50-50 with our projects. We try and show you how you can cut it with just normal scissors. Today I've used some nail scissors, so you don't have to go all out with equipment if you don't want to at the start. And I've just used a printout. Obviously I'm missing the B. But yeah, I've just used a printout and cut around that and used it as a stencil to draw around on my vinyl. But my main tip would be is make sure that you cut away the pen marks, because when you are pressing this, the ink can transfer to the fabric, so you just want to make sure they're cut away. But yeah, hopefully I've helped you guys. If you have any more questions at all, please let me know, or comment on our post after this video. You can watch this back on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook or Instagram, and feel free to have another rewatch back if you want to. But yeah, it's been lovely to have you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll speak to you guys soon on my next live. See you later, guys.